Top 6 Rundown. Top 6 Rundown.
Hello everybody, welcome to College Football Top 6 Rundown. I'm Charles in Charge.
I am Arvin G.
This is our third week of the season already. Wow. Alright, we're gonna get into it and talk about our favorite conference. Well, we're gonna talk about the SEC. I don't know if it's our favorite, but we're gonna talk about it. Number 1, Alabama. They had the week off last week. They stayed at number 1. They play at number 6, Texas A&M, who moved up 1 in the rankings after putting the hurt on Sam Houston State 65-28. And this is your game of the week. This is the only contest this week with 2 ranked teams. Actually, it's 1 of 2, but this is the important one. What do you think about this one, Arvin?
About what?
Alabama and Texas A&M. Do you think Texas A&M will be able to score enough to put Alabama in a tough position?
Not likely.
You still think Alabama's defense is going to hold?
Yes.
I mean,
I am favoring Alabama.
We have Johnny Manziel has been lighting it up.
Yeah, but I think Alabama will take it.
This is a really tough one for me to call, but I guess I'm going to side with Alabama. All right. Next is LSU moved up 1 spot after beating UAB. They're number 8 now. They're going to be playing Kent State. Yeah. At home. They're going to win that one probably. And Georgia moves up 2 spots after the 41-30 win against South Carolina. Now, Arvin, what did you take away from Georgia? Do you think that their loss in week 1 is a sign that they're not ready to compete, or do you think they really are for real this season?
I think Georgia will be pretty good. They have really good defense, and if they could upset South Carolina, it shows potential.
I think Georgia's good. I want to see more out of that defense, though. They still gave South Carolina 30, which I'm not very impressed with. The offense did really well. In this SEC conference as a whole, I think we're really going to have to see who can play defense, and that's who's going to win the conference. Because we've seen a lot of offense and not a lot of defense. Moving on, Georgia has a bye, of course, this week, so they get to rest up a little after that win. And now we got to talk about South Carolina, and on the other hand, you know, they dropped 7 spots to number 13 after losing the play versus Vanderbilt this week. And I think the biggest thing about South Carolina I'm seeing is Clowney only has 1 sack so far to start this season. I'm not very impressed. I'm really not.
If South Carolina is just relying on their defense to do all their bidding, I don't think it'll be a good season for them.
I mean, I told you last time when they played North Carolina that I thought it was more a reflection of how bad North Carolina was than South Carolina really being good, and we saw that on display Saturday at Georgia. Florida stunningly drops all the way to 18 after losing at Miami 21-16. Again, my takeaway from that game was not that Miami played outstanding on offense, because they really didn't. It was that their defense forced crucial turnovers in the red zone again and again. And you really got to wonder what's going on in Driscoll's mind.
Definitely. I personally think that Florida was just a really overhyped team, and they didn't really deserve the recognition that they got.
Still, I'm stunned that they turned the ball over that much. This week they have it off. I don't know what we're going to see from them coming in the future. We'll see. Ole Miss enters the rankings at 25, which I'm kind of shocked that they entered the rankings because they haven't really beat any impressive teams. They won against Vanderbilt week 1 in a shootout, but that's not really saying much to me either. They play at Texas this week, who's looking to rebound after falling from the rankings and taking it on the nose against BYU.
They'll be angry.
I'm actually going to say that Texas pulls this one out. I know there's a lot of question marks there, but I'm just not convinced Ole Miss is a very good team. All right, moving on to the Big 12. Oklahoma State moves up a spot, beat Utah State 56-35, and this is prototypical Oklahoma State, blowing somebody out and not playing much defense. I'm kind of sad. I don't know what to make of this team. I thought they played great defense week 1, and now week 2, here we are, and it's the same old Oklahoma State. But they're still in great position to win their conference. Oklahoma moves up a spot to 14. they played a real gritty one against West Virginia. Shocked that there was no offense in that game, 16-7. But they're still in good position right now. They play versus Tulsa this week. They should win that one. Now, a team that's impressing me in the Big 12 right now is Baylor. They moved up to 22 after a 70-13 beatdown of a Buffalo team that gave Ohio State some trouble. Watch out for Baylor. I don't know if they can play any defense, but they can sure light it up on the scoreboard. So,
For sure.
And number 24 TCU, they won against Southeast Louisiana 38-17. Still not very impressive though. And Paul Hall is out for the season. Not for 8 weeks with a broken right arm. I'm picking my upset of the week right here. Texas Tech will take them down this week. There's no way TCU goes in there and wins that game. All right, Pac-12.
All right, Pac-12. So we saw that Oregon, they beat Virginia 59-10, and now they're against Tennessee. And I think that will personally be a blowout game. Next up was Stanford. They won 34-13.
Not the impressive fashion we were expecting.
State. Yeah, and they play Army, so that would be another easy game for them. UCLA has a bye week.
They had a bye
week, but now they will be against number 23, Nebraska, right?
Yeah, and this I think, Nebraska is at home, but we got to remember that UCLA just is a much better team.
A good game. Yeah, I think it'll be a good game. I don't know. I can really pick to see who would really win this one. And the last one is Washington at Illinois. And they had a bye week last week, and I personally think we'll take Washington. So pretty much, the Pac-12 this coming week is pretty much, it's going to be dominated by Pac-12 teams. Now to Big Ten.
Onto the Big Ten, and also let's not forget USC falls from the rankings.
Yes.
With a stunning loss versus Washington State. Well, we told you it was going to be a tough one for them, so if you're watching our video, you would know. The Big Ten, Ohio State drops a spot to number 4. They play at Cal this week.
Oh, yeah, and that's actually my upset special. I personally think if Braxton Miller does not come in, California will definitely win this. I'm pulling for it. If he does show up, California will have to play a good defense, and that's probably the only way they're going to be able to, unless it's a shootout. So we'll see.
We'll see what happens. I don't think Ohio State drops it, but we'll see. Michigan moves up to number 11 after winning 41-30 versus Notre Dame last week. They play Akron this week. Watch for them to have a shot to win the Big Ten this year. Number 17 Northwestern moved up 2 after beating Syracuse last week 48-27. They play Western Michigan this week, another easy win. Now the tricky one is Wisconsin gets its first test of the season at Arizona State.
Arizona State's looking pretty good this year, so
we'll see what happens. I think they'll pull it out, but we're gonna see if they can handle them. Moving on to the ACC, Clemson moves up a spot. They have a bye this week. Florida State moved up a spot after their bye week, and they play Nevada this week. And Miami jumps all the way up to 15th after its win versus Florida.
They have a bye week this week.
And they get to relax this week. Now, the AAC is...
Basically, there's a rivalry, big rivalry, Kentucky teams, Louisville at University of Kentucky. And I personally think Louisville will crush Kentucky. And that's personally because you've seen, if you've looked at the scores, and, it'll be an easy win for them.
All right, and our wild card game of the week is Iowa at Iowa State. This has been a great rivalry game throughout the years, and both teams have gotten off to a slow start this season, so it should be a real interesting one.
Good rivalry. So.
And Heisman Watch, Braxton Miller's hurt and questionable.
Yeah, so we'll be dependent on that.
Manziel, if he loses against Alabama, I think his stock falls a little. Taj Boyd's holding strong. Teddy Bridgewater's holding strong. Mm-hmm. So stay tuned, and we'll check out our comment video after this.
Thank you.
Top 6 rundown. Top 6 rundown.